What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Final Fantasy Part 3, whatever they're going to call it, and when the game is going to come out. Now, this actually kind of got sparked from recent talk. There's been a lot of articles, and I've tried to avoid at least the spoiler parts of them. I'm not yet through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I'm certainly not going to get spoiled by these articles talking about the third game, but there is some interesting stuff being dropped. There's some actual miscommunication that came out today, I believe with the Washington Post, that talked to them, and they somewhat confirmed that the third game was also going to be PlayStation exclusive. They've since amended, the article and said, no, they never confirmed that. I think a few things are true. I think number one, the game is going to be PlayStation exclusive. Number two, when will it come out? I do think 2028 makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm willing to maneuver. I'm willing to negotiate that. I mean, it's not up to me, right? But in terms of that question, when it'll come out, one thing that we have gotten actually before the game came out and even now, right, in these post-release articles and interviews, the game seems like the third game seems to be making significant progress. Some of the stuff even being said today is that, hey, a lot of the stuff is mapped out, and look, the world is basically done. They just have to kind of maneuver things in terms of how they're going to do travel, right, for the third game, to not get too much into spoilers, right? That's kind of the headline going around right now is the world is done, but because of how travel is going to work in the third game, they might have to, mess around with it. But beyond that, there does seem to be progress. Before the game came out, there was a lot of talk of basically the skeleton has already been created, beginning, middle, end, where the story's going, things like that. Now, they have said some things to kind of throw a wrench in that, right? Because they have said hey, we want to see what people think of the ending. And I mean, again, I'm not reading comments because I'm too afraid to, but I don't know what the ending of Rebirth is, but that has been a weird kind of thing they've said. Not that I don't appreciate it. I actually think it's really cool that developers are willing to see the reception of their game before they start to make key decisions in the next game. I think that's actually kind of cool. However, again, to kind of go the opposite direction of that, everything they have said beyond that has kind of been, yeah, we already know the framework. It's already kind of been crafted. We're just about to put it all together. So, I bring all this stuff up, honestly, and in regards to hey, I can negotiate the 2028 thing. Look, I think 4 years makes a lot of sense. I think actually asking for less than 4 years is kind of wild. I don't think that's possible. You know what I mean? I could see, I suppose, a 2027 thing, right? 3 years from now. That would be, to me, that'd really be pushing it. And I'll tell you this, too. I don't care all that much, but there are, I would say, when you look at the open world and some of the, I would say, performance issues that Rebirth is having, can you solve those things by giving them, say, an extra year? I think you could have fixed some of it. And I guess the point there is, this was in 4 years. They made, and I think that's a massive achievement, but they made Rebirth in 4 years. To have them do it again in another 4 years, now again, maybe the world is done. That might have been the hardest part. So now maybe you can do the optimization, right, and really get it running and just performing the way you absolutely need it to. And hey, 2028, that could be the PS6's first full year when that comes out. Or it could actually be right before it, maybe right after it, somewhere in that time frame, right? So you might have increased technology to work with, but that's, I guess, why I could understand or see if you want to try to convince me on 3 years from now, considering you have the hardest parts of it built, and there's going to be a lot of reusing of assets, which is common, right? You look at the Yakuza games, that they do that a lot, and they do it really well, probably better than anybody else in the game industry of reusing assets. You can see it with Final Fantasy. It's not that much of an improvement, performance, visuals, things like that, over Remake. Yes, there's the open world, but I wouldn't say it's the biggest jump we've ever seen, especially in this generation. So could you do it in less than 4 years? Yeah, I think the framework has already kind of been there, but 4 years is actually, I would say, on the lower end already of the industry average, right? That's, I guess, what's holding me back. It seems like 5 years. 5 years tends to be what I think of as the AAA, whether it's open world or not. It tends to be 4, 5, 6 years, and 5 tends to be that average. So I would think 2028 is almost set considering you managed to pull this off in 4 years. So that's kind of the norm now, right? But I mean, the average is 5. So maybe, 2029, I really don't think so, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there. And then 2027, if you kind of go wild, right? If you can really turn around. But, again, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not into rushing these guys. Like make the best product possible. And ultimately, like I said, the optimization and really getting the thing to run the way you want, just take those 4 years. I'm going to personally say 2028, and I'll throw in whether it's PS6 or PS5, and then it turns into PS6, it's going to be console exclusive, right? It'll come to PC afterwards, but it'll start as a console exclusive, and then it really gets interesting. Does the trilogy in 2029, 2030, does it come to Xbox? That's the question we can ask in like 5. We're not going to worry about it right now. We can worry about it in other 3, 4, 5 years. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.